Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello once again, Steve Murphy with you on All About You. We've got so many friends who are with us tonight, and all the weeks that we've had before in the past, everyone's telling everyone they know, and collectively families and our union are getting together. Each week we're getting bigger and bigger as the show progresses. So thanks once again for joining us here on All About You, the show that's about your past, your present and your future. I've got 3 great panellists with us tonight. Linda Yusak. Good evening, Linda.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
And Sheila Vijayaraza is with us.
Hi, Steve.
Lovely to have you back, Sheila. And we have Rebecca, who was with me last week.
Hello,
Doula
Steve.
extraordinaire. We had a few chuckles last week, didn't we?
We did.
Now, coming up, we've got your calls coming in too. So 1900 990 990 is our number, and if you see that on the screen there, that will allow you to get onto the show. Leave your name, your date of birth, mobile, and a question for us, and we've always got the best psychics on board in order to answer your questions. Linda, you'll be attending the CBC Expo in Canberra. It's coming up on August 25, 26 and 27 at the All About You booth. It's quite huge actually, C11. And also main stage with Sammy Bunting. Linda, you're one of 24 master teachers around the world for Lisa Williams. That's quite an honour.
It is, it is. It was a long time studying, but yeah, it is a big honour.
There's the details too on our screen coming up in Canberra. That will be here before we know it. And a reminder that Lisa Williams will be on AAY via Skype from her home in Lilydale, New York. And the reason why I'm having a bit of a giggle is because last week I was saying, completely ignorant of the fact that she was living in New York, I said, she'll be calling live from Lilydale, but I was assuming it's in Melbourne. So, you know, and the home of Lilydale chickens as well. That's quite big. So you know, we'll put the chooks to bed there, and then we'll get Lisa on the show. There's the graphics on the screen for you. Now, Lilydale in New York, that's what it is. The entire show is going to be from her home in New York. So we're very grateful to have Lisa with us, who's donated her time to AAY and our viewers. And Lisa will be making a very special announcement on July 24. If you'd like a reading with Lisa, call 1900 990 990 and leave your details. Sheila, great to have you with us. Beautiful energy on the show as always.
Thanks, Steve. Great to be here.
You sit over there.
I do.
And today...
I'm getting courageous and moving closer to you.
Well, you're right next to me. And you look like you've shrunk a little bit.
Oh, maybe it's because I'm getting closer. I don't know. I have shrunk a little bit.
Well, not that you have to worry, but television sort of bangs it on with you.
Does,
and I've noticed as each week goes by, this little jacket here is getting tighter and tighter.
Well, you look like you shrunk too, I think, at the TV.
No, I look like a fat teddy, quite frankly. It doesn't matter. Beck, lovely to have you with us on the show.
You always make me laugh. You're so delightful. It's lovely to be here.
Oh, it's lovely to have you with us here, sisters. And just briefly, as a doula, you help in the birthing process with babies. It's becoming more and more vogue. You're in demand not only here in Australia. Are you able to just be on call, on notice? I mean, obviously you have to book this in, but do people from overseas book you in if they want your
Not yet, but they can. Yes, they can. They can, because to be on call, you just need to be available at least, probably about 3 to 4 weeks before for the person. So that's easily doable with a plane flight.
Now, another interesting thing, and I did not know this about you, but you do hypnotherapy. Now,
Yes, I do.
So, do I call you a hypnotherapist, or do you practice hypnotherapy? So not contradicting that, but is it a spasmodic thing where you just dabble into it?
No, I don't. I actually started the journey with hypnotherapy through birthing. So as a doula, I then trained to do extra childbirth education, and then I trained to do hypnobirthing. And that was 15 years ago. And then finding out that I could actually help people become calm through birth And then I found families going, Beck, you helped us through birth. Can you help us with HSC? Can you help me with my job? Can you help me with all these other pressures and anxieties that I have? So I went, oh, okay. So then I did some extra training, and now I work a lot with hypnotherapy.
When you put somebody into hypnotherapy, it's not like dangling a little.
Oh, no.
So
You can
what's
do
the
that just for
process?
fun, you know, if you really need to have that done. Well, it's actually becoming deeply relaxed, and a lot of what people don't realise, and birth really taught me this, the secret to a good experience is actually in letting go. And hypnosis facilitates a relaxing trance. I mean, we go in and out of trance all day, every day. Our state of awareness, our consciousness is always shifting. So hypnosis just allows you to go to a deeper place, to access your deeper wisdom, your deeper power, you know, to eliminate any false beliefs, negative beliefs, big blockages, any big fears, and then you're able to actually experience what it's like to feel empowered and create a safe place or an empowered place.
How long
love
does it
it. I
take
love
to go
this work.
into hypnotherapy or to be under the trance or...
It varies from person to person depending on their mind. So people that are highly analytical, I mean, I get a lot of people going, oh, Beck, I can never meditate. I somehow can get them there. But, you know, then again, I've been meditating since I was 19 and going into trance since I was about 4 years old. So, you know, I love helping people get there. So...
fascinating stuff.
Yes.
Linda, with the expos you have coming up in Canberra, what exactly is going to be going on there? Because you're going to... Are you lecturing?
No, I'm not lecturing. I'm going to be working on the AAY stand, so we'll be doing some private readings, but I'll be on stage with Sammy, so we'll be delivering messages from loved ones passed over, so connecting to the other side. Just getting to meet people on a face-to-face basis.
Now, you've obviously been told what's going on with Lisa Williams' seminars. Are we allowed to get a bit of a preview? What can we expect?
Well, obviously I'm doing a 6 weeks course with Lisa starting on the 31st of July. So it's a world summit. Me and master teachers around the world are teaching simultaneously. Applications are online now on the Lisa Williams site, so that's up and running. We have, Lisa has got her cruise coming up in November, I think it is.
And she'll be talking about that.
Yes, and she'll be talking about that on the show. And then she's got her symposium coming up in Uluru, which is a week-long...
Are you off to that one too?
I'm hoping, so it depends on financially and what's happening at the moment. But that's with quite a few very well-known mediums teachers from around the world. But one of the big things, yes, she'll be teaching in Australia. She will be actually at the MBS in October, where she will be doing some stage work there, and I think working with Scott Alexander King and
wonderful.
on his Animal Dreaming stand down there at the MBS. So you'll get to meet her up in person there.
Fantastic, and Scott's pretty exciting too in his readings. He's quite exciting to watch as well.
Oh, he's lovely.
And especially if you want to take your little pets along to the audience. I don't think I should mention that because I don't think you'd be allowed to.
Just walking in with a lot of dogs at the MBS. Don't know about the organisers, but
It's all right, we have a few snakes running around and a few eagles here and there.
Snakes you can keep, eagles I don't mind.
A special hello. We have to say hello to Lee. Normally Lee is our cameraman on camera 3, but Matt's on 3 tonight. And Lee is watching our program in Greece. Which sort of shows you how boring Greece is at the moment because there's not much to do. They've put their lunch down. They've said, well, I shouldn't have said that, should I?
All the way from where Regis
He's
is.
calling in from Greece and he's stopped to have lunch and he said, well, we must watch AAY.
Wonderful.
So it's lovely. No, we love it, Lee. Thank you very much. Now, I thought I'd just mention that. It means absolutely nothing to us on the panel. Now, I'll be doing some numerology readings as well coming up. And if you'd like to get your information into us, 1900 990 990 is that number which will pop up on the screen intermittently. Let's go to questions, ladies. We have Beck. This is a call for you, Matilda. What a lovely name.
I do. That is a
It was
lovely
quite
name.
a vogue name for babies, wasn't it? About 15, 20 years ago. Little Matilda, and very Australian. So she's the 25th of the 7th, 1979. I'd like to know if I will ever have a child of my own. I've been trying to conceive and have had tests, and there doesn't seem to be any issues. What do you think is the delay here?
Okay. Having worked with birth and fertility for a long time, and I've also had 10 pregnancies and 4 babies myself, you know, sometimes it's the body, sometimes it's, you know, you've got to do a bit more work around confidently being able to, you know, open your heart to motherhood or to receive the soul of the child. Sometimes too, the older we get, it is a bit harder because, you know, the body isn't going to produce as many fertile eggs, but that doesn't mean that you're meant to give up, okay? I do feel that there's a soul around you. So again, and sometimes too, you know, many women are putting off babies and they're also realistically on the pill a lot longer. So again, hormonally, your body, if you're trying to conceive and fertility, you've got to give your body time to conceive naturally. It's not just going to happen. I mean, sometimes it does. It's rarer in 2 or 3 months or 6. Sometimes it can take up to 12 months. You know, I highly suggest you have a look at your diet. I strongly recommend, you know, you have a look at doing some yoga. There's also some crystals, moonstone, chrysocolla. There's also a really beautiful one called unikite, and that's actually about helping the embryo itself actually attach to the uterine wall. We lose a lot of babies because of attachment issues, okay? So that crystal specifically helps with attachment issues. And I know in IVF that they've had to rejiggle the drugs again, you know, to help these babies, you know, remain attached to the wall. 1 in 3 pregnancies will end in a miscarriage. That's kind of, that's a very normal statistic. It's not great for our hearts, but it is actually, you know, a fact there, okay? I feel more next year you're actually going to be a lot more successful. I'm getting a strong masculine energy. Having said that, I have 4 children. No one ever gets my 3rd child right. She's a girl, Gabriel, named after an angel, but everyone thinks she's a boy because she's very assertive in her energy. I am getting no stress is also affecting you. And again, anxiety will inhibit any of the body's natural processes here, okay? So again, I do feel success. I do feel more early next year, you know, or beginning of autumn next year. I also feel some rose quartz there. It will happen. And again, any guilt you have around anything to do with motherhood, please surrender that, you know, and just, you know, I am grateful to receive this beautiful soul into my life. I'm grateful for my partner, etc., etc., etc. Okay, there's so much more I could say and so much more I want to say, but that's all I've got time for. Thank you for connecting with us, Matilda. It's not your age.
Thanks, Matilda, and thank you, Beck. And if you'd like an extensive reading, 1900 990 990 is our number. Sheila,
Yes.
straight to you.
Okay.
Audrey, that's
Audrey.
another lovely name, isn't it?
Pretty name.
12th of the 3rd, 1959. As a part-time employee, I can't seem to get ahead. Can you suggest what I can do? I do a second job, and what I could do is a second job, but I'd only ever have to pay more tax if that situation was to arise. Do you have any suggestions here?
Okay, thank you, Audrey. A great question. As I tune into you, I'm going to just use my left brain and tell you paying extra taxes isn't a bad thing. You earn more money, you have to pay more tax. So it's actually a good thing for you. I think it's... what's coming through, Audrey, for you is a small resistance around extra responsibility. And they're asking me to ask you, why is Audrey not having one job where you work more hours? You're looking at another job where you work extra hours. So there seems to be a small resistance to you, Audrey, around committing in a bigger way to really owning your career path or owning being in the world and contributing to the world in a way where you can also receive financial abundance. There's a resistance around that for you. And I feel like there's been a resistance around committing to bigger things in your life. So, you know, owning the assets, owning the house, making a commitment to buy a car, take out a loan, things like that. So Spirit's not saying to do that, but just to question, why is there a resistance for you around walking towards these extra commitments that might involve a little bit more responsibility? When I tune into the energy of taking a second job, I feel like when you take an additional job, it really isn't about the extra taxes. It's a story. I feel like you're telling yourself to keep that a little bit further away from you. When you take the extra job, it's going to feel a little bit busy. I feel like it definitely is in a different location, and you're going to have to travel a different way to get there, and that's going to make you feel a little bit ungrounded in the first 3 months should you take sort of the extra work in a different location. I'm being asked to ask you what kind of bigger changes you can make in your life. So I feel like it's even beyond the extra job. I feel like Audrey needs to ask herself, how can I have one job that fulfills me in a bigger way? And Audrey needs to ask herself what she really wants to get out of her work day. Because it is, whilst I don't feel like you work a long day, Audrey, I feel like you work shorter hours over more days. How can you feel fulfilled in that time? And how can you think beyond the finances? The reason why work keeps on coming up is because you're not able to pay all your bills. And so you're thinking about the finances. And that's a bit of a cycle you've been on, and I'm getting 3 years. It's been a little bit difficult financially for you. So they're asking me to ask you, can you not think about the finances? Can you think about how you can be fulfilled in your work? It's not something you've dedicated a lot of time to think about, but you'll find financial abundance flows in. You won't have to worry about the income or the taxes. You're going to feel more fulfilled in your work day, and that more opportunities will open up for you. I'm seeing a dog around you. So I feel like what you do is a combination. I feel like you've got different skills, and I don't know if you're dog walking or you're out in nature at times, or what you do has an outdoor component. But again, I think they're showing me that because you need to ask yourself what's going to make you feel happy and what's going to create the day and connections that you really value. You're at a time in your life where this is growing more important for you. So hopefully that's clarified and given you a bit more guidance there, Audrey. I'm being asked to tell you to increase the hours you're doing, because I think you're going to enjoy that, especially when you're loving what you do. So all the best to you.
Yes, thank you, Audrey, for ringing in today, and thank you, Sheila, for that great reading. And thanks to everybody too, by the way, who has been phoning in over this past week. If you don't get a chance to get on this show, we've got you on file. We'll get you on the shows that are coming up, certainly. And we do have live audiences coming soon to All About You, so a great opportunity for that. Keep with us here, and for your opportunity where we can sit with you in the audience and give a reading for you. And I'm not too sure how some of our friends will feel. Oh, I don't know if I'd like to have a live reading on TV. But you could come in disguised or something.
Absolutely.
So, if Batman and Robin's turning up, or Catwoman.
Should be interesting.
Steve, just do the show, will you? Now, we have Katina, who has rung in. Thank you very much, Katina, who phoned in today. She says, I'm born on the 15th of the 12th. This is for you, Linda. 1963 born, 15th of December. I'm feeling uneasy and I don't know what direction my life is heading. Could you please give me some guidance?
Hi, Katrina. Thanks for connecting with us, sweetheart. Life hasn't been easy for you, sweetheart. So feeling uneasy is a little bit of anxiety or a bit of stress that's connected to what you have gone through on a personal level for many, many years. You're at the stage where you just don't know where you're heading or where you're going to go. So I do feel like that I always talk about meditation, or meditation is an answer to find out exactly who you are or within yourself, but also help you to cope with what's going on a personal level, or to find who you are again at the moment. I feel Katrina's lost Katrina, so you're lost in the equation at the moment. So it's a matter of getting back in touch with who you are. And when we feel uneasy and a little bit unworthy, it's just a matter of, you know, life becomes a little bit of Groundhog Day. Where do we go? The same thing happens over and over and over again. So we get quite stale in where we need to be. I'm going to pull a couple of cards and just see where you're going at the moment, sweetheart. But it lets me know that you're fighting against yourself. And when you fight against yourself, you become your own worst judge or your own worst enemy. I will tell you the next 4 weeks to 8 weeks, there's a few changes coming for you. Again, it's getting outside, it's again finding who you are and standing within nature, or getting in tuned with the person that you are. You are very motherly, shall we say, and you've been there for absolutely everybody. And it's time to learn, I would say, the word no and start to look after you on a personal level. There's been a few people, especially family, walking away from you at the moment, and this is where I feel you're not sure where you're going to go. I will say learn the word no, stand your ground and stand up for who you are on a personal level. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do, but find your feet and find out who you are. Family is very, very important to you. So it's okay to say sorry as well as forgivenesses, but forgiving yourself as well, if that makes sense, sweetie. So I do feel like give yourself a little bit of time, especially over the next 4 weeks period. The moon is just really, really crazy at the moment, and everyone's going through this emotional roller coaster, especially with family and emotions, if that makes sense, darling. So it's just a matter of hang in there, have a little bit of patience, and I feel it's more connected to with your family as well. Let it go, believe in yourself and move forward. Beck, can you do me a favour and just choose 4 crystals for me, sweetheart?
Oh my gosh.
Just 4 little crystals.
Really? oh, okay. How fun. Thank you. Whoops.
It's a great stack of crystals. It's beautiful.
They're fairy crystals.
The first crystal Beck's pulled out is an amethyst. The amethyst is the ultimate stone of inner peace. It's about letting go of things that you can't change, sweetheart, but changing the things that you can. The clear stone is my connection or your connection to the universe, but it's what I call my knowing, your connection to your crown. And the yellow stone is a calcite, but any yellow stone sits around your tummy. So it's all about your self-worth. The orange is all your sacral, which is all about your confidence, believing in you. So it's about getting the balance back within who you are, believe in the essence of who you are and your own self-worth, but let go of things or let go of stress, let go of negative and reverse it. Your glass is now half full, sweetheart, not half empty. So believe in the positive and let go of the negative, and I guarantee you things will fall into place.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Linda.
darling.
Thanks, Katina. And thanks to our friends who are phoning in 1900 990 990 if you would like a reading. You mentioned there about the full moon.
It's been a bit crazy. Everyone I talk to is just saying their emotions are just so heightened at the moment, and it's just whatever has happened can happen. You know, we lost someone personally in our life last week, and the funeral was there, and it was just that emotional roller coaster that's brought up a lot of past issues to a lot of people that I've spoken to. So all I'm saying to everyone at the moment is have some patience. It will change.
This is not a super moon, is it, that we've just had? We did have one a few months ago.
No, I don't think it's a supermoon, but it is. We had Chiron before as well.
that's the
the
healing
wounding,
planet.
yeah, that was just before
But
it.
I noticed this
We've got
full moon
Pluto or
was
something.
incredibly bright.
It is
Yeah.
amazing. It is
Very low.
It
gorgeous.
was almost like it had
It
a
was
blue energy
stunning.
around it.
Yeah.
But yeah, conjunct Pluto and squaring Aries and Libran, so which is going to drive Aries and Librans into decision making. And do you know when we lack decisions, according to Louise L. Hayes, we end up getting teeth problems, gut problems.
Interesting.
Yeah, so if you've got toothaches around about this time,
Okay.
or gum aches, it's indecisiveness.
You haven't made a decision.
It's annoying, isn't it, toothaches?
Very much so.
I think the
Absolutely.
back pain can be a bit of a shocker, or the headaches when the toothache rolls round. Oh,
Is it a nice time to release emotions during the full moon? Is it a nice time to look at your life while things are coming up and it's uncomfortable, but it's a nice time to work through some uncomfortable emotion?
yes. That's a good question. What full moons do is they think of a big Hollywood spotlight, and where in this case it's been on the 9th and the 10th of July all around the world. So if you have those birth dates, and even if you're 5 degrees out from it, as in this case America's birth date, which is the 4th of July, and look how America and its president are right in the spotlight at the moment. So all Cancerians are feeling this spotlight on them because the moon is in Capricorn and it's shining on them from the backyard. So whenever the sun is in the sign, the full moon will be in its opposite sign. So in this case, it's the 7th house, and that represents love, relationships. It also represents open enemies, as opposed to the 12th house, which is closed enemies or ones you can't see. And it is putting a spotlight on those things. But why we're feeling this so much, it's on the same degree, or basically the same date, 1 degree out, that's going to be the full moon eclipse coming up on the 8th of August. Now, the sun's going to be in Leo, so what's the opposite sign? Aquarius. So here, Aquarians are feeling it. You've got big decisions coming up. So this full moon that you were mentioning, it's alluding to, well, there's the last page of the book. So there we close a chapter, or we put a light on something, and it just rests. It comes to peace, hence the waning moon, which is what we're just going into now. I should have suspect the full moon coming out of Capricorn's just gone into Aquarius, so Aquarians are feeling it at the moment. Those new moons, and I've got to say, really, whenever those new moons roll around 12 times a year, that's your best time. You'll always feel confident. We'll let you know when that's popping up. I think the 21st of this month. So 3 degrees out from our big date of July 24. Let's get back to questions because the show gets away here. Beck, I've got another call here.
No.
Oh, God, I can talk. It's Cherie, and Cherie's the 20th of the 10th, 1976. My dad passed away about 13 years ago, and I used to see him a lot in my dreams, but I don't now. Is he not around me anymore, or am I not picking up the signs?
Okay. Cherie, that's a really, really good question. And it is one I get asked a lot too privately as well, when people are beginning not to feel, you know, their loved ones so much anymore. Part of that is because, again, I do feel still around you. I don't feel necessarily that on one level you were needing as much. And sometimes that happens too. You know, they come in when we're in a state of need and vulnerability. I feel that they're more around you, though, in the physical. So that's what I'm feeling. I feel, too, in a way, life is a bit busy for you, and I do feel part of it, too. It was easy to connect in dreams, but perhaps if you were actually able to meditate, sit, just be. And, again, you don't have to sit like a yogi for half an hour. Just, you know, become quite still, allow your eyes to close. Allow your gaze to rest at the tip of your nose, so looking directly between your third eye, and just welcome him in. And just say, do you have, you know, I welcome in, I'm grateful for you to keep me company. And do you have any messages for me, you know? Or, you know, again, going into that soul space, that sacred space, you know, created through meditation there. Again, you know, you can actually learn to communicate quite effectively yourself in that particular way, okay? And again, sometimes over a period of time, that's what it's about. It's about you having a look at different ways in which to communicate. I just feel like the energy shifted, and again, they've also shifted too. They go into other realms, they go into other dimensions. They're also much happier over there as well, doing, you know, their soul's still growing, their soul's still ascending, even if it's not in the physical earth realm. So that's what I'm getting. So very much around you. So please don't stress about that. It's just the way, it's like the viewing needs to change, okay? So it's the way in which you connect needs to change. In dreams, it's wonderful, but again, that can also be a little bit lazy. You know, this is about you actively working with this particular energy and this person and getting a bit more spiritually connected, okay? So you can do this. And now's a really good time to start, okay? So, you know, before bed or when you wake up, or just spend, you know, 5 to 10 minutes just stilling your being down and welcoming them in. I still feel so much around you in the physical, okay? So I hope that helps. I'm getting a very strong energy of a dog. It feels like quite a tall dog as well. It feels like it's in spirit, or not a tall dog, like medium-sized dog as well, and connected to the father energy there as well. And I've also got their father as well. So you've got quite a few ancestors there in spirit, darling. So, and they are there, okay? There's so much more I could say. I wish I could. Thank you for that question.
Thanks, Beck. Thanks, Cherie. Sheila, now, isn't it interesting we were talking, I didn't look at this, I glanced at it before we came on, of course, but it's now, there happens to be the next question, which is relevant to what we're talking about with the full moon eclipse. So here's Jen for you, and her birthday is the 8th of the 8th, 1979. Do you have that birthday out there, friends? Because listen up, this is the date of the full moon eclipse this year. It's going to be really, really powerful.
Wow.
Enjoy, Jen.
Oh, Leos and Aquarians are really feeling it. But Jen, this is great because being a Leo, you've got that new moon eclipse coming up. That's right on the cusp too, by the way, for Leos and Virgos. Yeah. Jen writes, for some years, I've been wanting to write a book. As you're in the corporate world, are you able to give me some good, honest advice? As opposed to what?
I think Jen's wanting some corporate career guidance. I work in publishing, and I find Spirit...
Perfect person.
I know, yeah, Spirit uses what we know, the language and the vocabulary and the images and sounds we've collected through our life, and works in a way to give guidance. So I'm going to ask Spirit right now, specifically around publishing, what you do need to know. And the first thing, energetically, Jen, when I tune into you, you're a daydreamer. So I feel like, Jen, when you put your mind to a goal, you really do see it through, Jen. And there are definitely some distinct achievements that you have had in your life. But there are some things that you haven't achieved because they felt a little bit beyond your reach, and that's because you haven't been as anchored down as I think you would have liked to have been, and you've been okay with that, and I feel like there's a very creative daydream aspect to your personality, and you will sit and daydream, and I feel like this book that you do want to write is a combination of fiction and non-fiction. There's going to be some elements of non-fiction you're going to try and create through a narrative, through a story or someone's story. Part of your story will be in this fictionalised story. That's the energy I feel around your book. And I've been told you have to write this book, and I feel like it is there. So you can birth it, you can create this. You need to make yourself accountable. I'm getting the word accountability is needed for you. And I feel the energy. Your father, or a man who is like a father figure to you, is someone you need to reach out to start discussing and talking about this book in a way that's very real and tangible, and where you're accountable for it. So that's the gap here, Jen, isn't about getting the book published and written. It's the process that I'm being told to guide you through. It is there for you. Just feeling a little bit out of your reach at the moment. So the accountability is, I've been told 5 things I need to tell you about. I think it's the accountability, a father-like figure, probably someone where you work. You need to start talking about this book and how you plan on actually creating it through logical steps. I'm just got writer's workshop. I'm being told you need to create a tribe around you. There's a level of discipline that you need to learn about. This isn't quite a creative art, even though what you will experience will be like that. There's a scientific approach, I'm being told, to tell you that you need to go through to write this, and you will learn that through some sort of writer's workshop, writing group, meet-up group, something like that. I don't think you need to pay a lot of money for it. I feel like you can write. It's about meeting and creating a tribe around you. Thirdly, I'm being told to have a really clear sense of your structure. I feel like you know what the beginning is, you don't know how it ends. So I'm being told you do need to think about how it ends, because it's a block to starting. So please, with regards to your topic, ask people, how do you think this should end? How would you end it? Okay, that's 3. I've been told there's 5, so let me just go into what the 4th one is. I'm just drop the goal. Drop the hot potato and the expectations. Just have fun and know it's there for you, and allow. Even though the first few seem to be a little bit in control, there's a need for you to allow. I'm seeing a trophy or some sort of accolade you've had in your life. It was a big thing you achieved, and there was a moment in that you allowed. There's a process you went through with that you need to bring into the writing of the book. You have had a major achievement in your life, as big as writing a book. They're asking me to tell you to go back to that moment, and I think there was a moment of just giving it up, allowing, thinking it doesn't matter what the outcome is, and in that moment, you got it. So you need to apply that with writing the book. And the 5th thing, I'm just going to tune to you, Jen. The 5th thing is have some fun. It's funny. You're funny. Whatever you write is going to have an element of fun in it. The book's become a bit serious in your mind, and that you will need to be humorous about it and bring humour into whatever you're writing. Because I feel like it's become something quite serious, and you've lost your way a little bit around what this book could be for people. So think about the gifts you're giving to people versus something that is yours and you're owning, because I think you're being, Spirit's working through you, right? There's a higher purpose there for you in writing it. Even if it's not a spiritual book, you'll move, touch and inspire people with your words to be a better version of themselves, to think differently about their lives. Remember how you can touch, move and inspire people with your words. So I hope those 5 things I've been told to tell you about shift you in a place where you can start to write. It's there for you. It's about moving through those 5 things. So all the best to you, Jen.
Thanks, Sheila. That's very good advice there too. And are there a lot of people who want to write books?
Oh, look, I think there's a book in all of us. You know, I think we've all had interesting lives. A lot of people want to write it. The process is a very interesting process. It can be challenging for some. I have full respect. When someone's told me they've written a book and published it, whether it's with a commercial publisher or self-publishing, I have respect, because it is a really, it's a road of, it's like a spiritual journey, you know, and it's like any other big achievement in your life. There are highs and there are lows, and there are moments of real motivation and demotivation, and there are tests the whole way through. I think a lot of people want to. It takes a lot of time.
Is it expensive?
It depends. I think there's an aspect. The expense comes from probably withdrawing from a level of earning an income to write, if you really want to take it seriously.
Yes. That's the thing, isn't it? Don't think of one book. You've got to keep on writing. You've
got to keep on writing. And, you know, I've heard of, because I've worked in publishing for, you know, over a decade, and there are many processes. And the ones I've learned for anyone out there that wants to write is, you know, set some time and write. It is a job. You know, some of the great authors that I've heard wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning and write for hours. Don't edit what you write, so just write from the heart. You know, create a space where there's a bit of discipline around you. And look, I think if you're meant to write and you really want to write, it'll happen. So don't worry about the outcome.
What is a real cow, and that's when you can't write. You get
when the writer's block.
Not everyone can write, but you get writer's block.
Yeah.
And most journalists will get that at some point. But I look at all these people who are journalists in newspapers and have to keep writing and writing, and that's an extraordinary gift, to keep on reinventing the wheel and who, what, when, where and why, which is the mantra, and you have to make it interesting.
Well, I don't know what, writer's block's an interesting word, and if I get the spiritual bent to it, you know, is ego in the way, is fear in the way? And I think if you don't have ego and fear, which is so hard to not have, it does flow.
Yes.
It is there for you. So when you've got a block, it's working through the fear, the fear of failure, you know, what are the fears, or what is the attachment to the outcome is blocking, you know, the creative process.
Thanks very much, Jen, for ringing in, and Sheila. And would you like me to do that call now, Mark? Yes? Okay, well, I'll go to my numerology reading straight away and talk to our friend here, Melissa, who's with us on the line. Hello, my love, how are you?
Hi, Steve. How are you? I'm so excited.
Well, we're thrilled to have you with us as well. You've been watching AAY for a while?
Yes, I have. I absolutely adore you.
Like Melissa, access 1900 990 Thank you very much, my love, for being on the show. Well, look, let's have a look here. July 27, 1977. Just feel free to say what you think as I'm telling you here what I'm seeing.
Yep.
I think, what a strange thing to tell you straight away, I think it's been a rather flat year for you. And you've been going through just the motions. It's just, I'd love to tell you something more exciting. I will in a minute. But up until now, it's just been this flat year.
Yes, spot on.
And I think there was a turning point. I go back to around about the 16th of February. The energy levels look quite high here. But March, April, May, June, it's been plodding along. There is now, as we are in July, there's a little shift here for you. You're going to have beads of, as you wake up, that's a strange analogy, isn't it? Beads of excitement here that come to you, or waves of excitement. So whereas it's been void here in the past few months, you're going to sort of go through the days and you'll be feeling a little bit more confident as we go through July here. And as we move into August, this is where we've got the eclipses around you. Now, your birth date's the 27th of July. I've been harking on about this over the last few months on the show. People with this particular birth date, they are on the dawn of a new beginning. It's very, very exciting for you. You'll be quite thrilled to hear this. However, you're being a little bit sceptical here, healthily and wisely, through this year with your associations and your relationships. Everything's not quite what it seems. So I don't want you to put the cork back in the bottle and say, oh, well, that's finished with that. Just keep optimistic here, because something is progressing and it looks very, very positive here for you. I'm going to go towards next month in August, which is imminent. I'm sure I'll hear back from you, but it seems quite exciting here. You'll be feeling quite energised. And then there's this new arrangement that pops up in the middle of September. You're not going to be so much alone. This year you've sort of been a bit by yourself and had to do your own thing, and even listen to your own self for counselling and go into your own inner being for faith. And there's been this thread, and I would assume and hope that it's a part of our show that's going to keep you going, but there is going to be a new association around you, and that's going to have very, very strong influence here for you for quite some time. I get 5 to 6 years. Now, what else was I going to say here? Something very important. Oh, yes. So I want to go back to 2015, 2016. Whilst it's been a little bit quiet, I feel you've been privately under the surface, been a bit worried, and you're not too sure or not too confident here how everything is going to work out. But it seems to me that a few people and just your past, it's vanishing, it's moving away here, and there is this new direction that's going to be coming in. You, my dear, you've got unfulfilled dreams, and you've had a go at them in the past, but they've never had an opportunity here to get off the ground. And I see you in the future, you're going to take off like a rocket, and you're so charismatic here with the way that this is going to be handled. You're a bit of a manager. I don't mean to sound crude when I say that, a bit of. I feel you're a very good manager. But your skills have had not really a platform here to really execute and demonstrate their professional prowess. And that's going to come up for years in about 2 years' time. Just want to say one more thing here. Do you have a pen? You can roll our show back if you like. There are major changes coming up in your life at the age of 41, again at the age of 50 and 59. There looks to me to be a mother figure here. I really like this woman. She's going to be either a partnership to you in business. She wears glasses. She looks a little bit nana. She's not as old as she appears, but she's quite old-fashioned and has very, very, strong values. And she's very serious, and she's a good woman. She's a very good woman. Well, she's going to be one of your top allies, my dear, and on your side. Now, just one more last piece of advice here, Melissa. I'm talking too much, aren't I?
It's all good. You're right.
I want you to be your own woman, and don't be. Some people can tend to bully you, or they sort of want to boss you around or keep you a little bit under the thumb.
Yep.
And sometimes this is people who mean well, or they just want to protect you or overprotect you. Hide from them. You're just not available. You're just not there. So I want you to do your own thing. You can't be everything to everybody, because your independence, meaning Melissa wants to be herself, she's not always able to be. So you're going to lose yourself in transit, aren't you? Where's Melissa? They can't find you. So you'll be busy out doing your own thing. What's the scenario of all this? I see an umbrella over the top of you. It's multicoloured, and no storm's going to hurt you, my love. Sunshine ahead. It's just wonderful. Also, look out for a plane trip. This is a big plane trip. I think you're going to be going overseas, and a little bit of lower shoulder pain in the back.
Yeah, spot on. I've got that now.
Take that as testimony to what's coming up for you. Thanks for being on our show.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Good on you, my love. We'll hear back from you again. Well,
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, my love.
Bye-bye.
There's Melissa on our show, 1900 990 990. That's all you have to do. Phone into our show, leave your details and your date of birth, and we'll try and get you on the show as soon as we can. We've got the topic of discussion coming up in just a moment. And I thought about this afternoon, but I won't say what I'm going to say. I want to hear I'll say it eventually, but I want to hear what our ladies have got to say in inverted commas. Gratitude. What a big word that is. It's to be grateful, isn't it? But we'll talk about that in just a moment. That's our topic of discussion tonight. Linda Crystal has written in, or she's phoned in rather, 17th of the 3rd, 1979. Look how calm you are. You just take this on board, don't you? I lost an item that I was wearing and it belonged to my grandmother and I feel terrible that it's been lost. Do you think that she will forgive me? It had a faulty latch on the necklace to begin with.
What's her name again?
Crystal.
Hi, Crystal. How are you, sweetheart? I'm really getting pulled to Mum's side of the family, so I feel it was your maternal grandmother, but I really want to go Nan. I don't want to go grandmother, I want to go Nan. I'm very, very tight in the chest around this lady and very constricted around the throat, so it lets me know that you didn't get the opportunity to say goodbye to her. You had a lot of time with her and I do feel more motherly than grandmother, if that makes sense, darling. She's also letting me know that she understands the locket or the necklace that has gone missing. I feel it basically went down your top and you didn't realise it until... I don't think it's lost on a permanent basis, but I don't think you're going to find it right at the moment. When we are not there when someone passes away, we tend to feel a little bit guilty about not being there, and it's all about circumstances. And the item you've lost is an item. It is not your grandmother. And she would never, ever allow you to feel any guilt connected to the loss of this, and there is no loss of love. She gave it to you as a reminder, or left it to you as a reminder of her love for you. But we hang on to so much material things thinking that's the one that's going to be close to, or I'm going to be close to my grandmother because that's what's given to me. It's the love, and that's basically sits on your heart. And have you ever seen the movie Patrick Swayze and Ghost? And you see Patrick Swayze pass over and he said, it doesn't matter where I am or what you have, they take the love with you. And that love has been taken over through her crossing over to you. So don't ever think that she's going to think anything of you losing the locket. I don't think it's lost, but I do feel like it's misplaced, shall I say, at the moment. I would look around the bedroom when taking off a top or taking off some item of clothes. Maybe it's been kicked under the bed or something that's just really out of the way place. What's blocking you and what's hanging on to you, and why you're feeling so much guilt connected around that, is you haven't told a soul. So I do feel like that if you open up and just say to your mother, Mum, I think I've lost it, and you will find a massive big release being removed from you. I always teach my students, you know, if you want to know anything, use your own intuition, sweetheart. Ask questions, start asking questions, and before your question finishes, you'll get the answer that you're looking for. Is it in this room? Is it in that room? Have I lost it? Is it under the bed? When am I going to find it? You'll find a direct yes, no, whatever you will see. Your intuition is pretty spot on, so don't ever doubt that, but don't ever doubt that your grandmother doesn't love you. She loves you very, very much, and that bond will stay with you forever. So good luck with that, sweetheart, but have a bit of patience, it will come to surface.
Thank you, Linda, and thank you, Crystal. I have to agree with you. I think she's going to find it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I felt as you were talking there, this hasn't been lost totally. It's just
misplaced.
Sometimes quiet prayer has a very powerful message, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Just when you think, who's listening to this? But there's a field of energy out there that's picking up. Ladies, we have the topic of discussion tonight. It's called gratitude. Each week on the show we talk about a subject. Last week was happiness, and from what we were trying to grapple with, casks of wine. They were strangely missing in the studio. Put the wine back, will you? But no wine here on tonight's show, just a little bit of water here. Now, gratitude. And we're very grateful to have our water. Who's dehydrated tonight?
I am.
I don't know what it is. I've been guzzling a lot today. Oh, here's old guzzle. Now, gratitude, does it come naturally or are you taught gratitude? Can I start off with you, Beck?
Oh, I can be in the hot seat. I think it is a bit of a practice. I feel to me, gratitude softens everything. it just softens everything. And you know, sometimes you do need to practice remembering when you're in not such a positive space. I've been practicing gratitude for a number of years, and I can say it definitely works. You know, it does bring you back into the moment. It brings you back into the heart, and it leaves you with a full cup rather than an empty one, and feeling, you know, loss or grief or sadness and frustration. So it can really, you know, flip that negative into a positive experience if you practice it.
Yes, and sometimes it can be a little bit hurtful if you do give somebody something, and I don't think they're very appreciative of it. And it happened to me once, where I gave a very special book with a necklace in it, chain, and they said, "Oh, put it down there."
Yeah. Interesting.
And I thought, isn't that rude?
The most common, I've read an article today, the most common reason for divorce is couples not feeling appreciated, which is gratitude. And it's interesting, I've just moved in with my partner, and where I said to him, "Do you think we're doing the same amount of housework?" And he said, "I don't think so." He said, "I think I'm doing more." And I said, "Well, I think I'm doing more." We created a board yesterday with a point system, and we're putting points beside each: washing, ironing, cooking, blah, blah, blah. And today when I read the article, I thought, oh my gosh, I need to just thank him versus saying what I'm doing, what he's doing. I felt embarrassed, but it's interesting. I moved very quickly into, my gosh, I'm so grateful I have a man that does X, Y, and Z. I told him on the way driving here today. To answer your question, Steve, I don't think we're not taught gratitude. I think when we come into the world, the human experience very quickly is to seek ambition and acquire and move from ego. I don't think that's the way, but that's the human experience. When we move to that side, the gratitude pulls us back, and we need to seek gratitude to loosen the attachments, to loosen the desires, to really bring in the abundance we want by not being attached to things. So I don't think we're taught it. We're taught the opposite by everyone on their soul journey making mistakes and learning and growing and evolving. And then we need to surround ourselves by people that teach us gratitude. We find, I mean, at times you can hit rock bottom, and that's when you seek out things that help you. And then you need to, you know, you might be going through a breakup or a job loss, and someone says, well, be happy for. And in those moments, we reach. And sometimes we need a difficult moment to reach. It'd be wonderful to not have a difficult moment where you can be grateful for just how things are at the moment. We find things are going great and we suddenly want more, and then we lose it all, and then we're in that vicious cycle. So finding people around you, like, you know, Beck and Linda, you probably have really great daily practices. It's something you need to cultivate. Cultivating gratitude is a practice, you know, it's like fitness. It's a muscle you got to, you know, really flex.
And sometimes I see parents with little kids, and I've got to say I love seeing this, and say thank you to the man, say thank you to the lady, and you don't see that all too often, but when you do, it's a lovely thing. And they thank you, and you think, you're instilling in them good manners, but it's charming to see.
It's charming, but then it's moving into feeling it. I like when parents, you know, slow down and, why should you be thankful? You know, because they say thank you because they can grab the lolly. Like my niece and nephews, I love them dearly, but, you know, it's moving in that space of, well, why are you thankful? And you just got to, you know, the practice.
Keep reinforcing.
Keep reinforcing,
And it takes us all the way through to our adulthood as well. To learn to say thank you keeps our ego intact as well. So
and to be thankful.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if someone comes up and says, "Oh wow, Steve, that tie looks amazing on you today," and you could say, "This old thing, I've had it on for a while, so I'm feeding," and you'll say, you know, and it'll go backwards and forwards. But it's as simple as saying thank you.
It is, and I do hear you, but I have to smile, because how often have we said that?
Absolutely.
Gee, you look lovely in that dress. Oh, this old thing. You do hear that a lot, don't you?
And it's more or less like the silent ego wanting someone to give you affirmations, or it's as simple as saying thank you.
But I'm not sure whether a lot of people can handle compliments, because they may feel that they're looking perhaps a little bit better than everybody else in a room. Not that when you do point out if somebody has got a very nice dress on. Sometimes if I see a lady wearing a very nice dress, I can't help but tell her, you look so gorgeous in that. But I'm then mindful of what I've said, and I'm thinking, well, perhaps she's never heard that in sort of a long while, because it's not something you do hear that often. But I think when you do see, and from a man's point of view, if we see a lovely lady, you can't help, if certainly thinking it, you can't help but tell her that she looks gorgeous. Oh, Steve, get on with it.
I read today...
ladies do like to be told they're
Absolutely.
Yeah, want to be told. And I think if you notice something really wonderful about a person and you don't tell them, it's like buying someone a present and just not giving it to them, wrapping it up and keeping it at home and never giving it to them. So it's so important when you, in that moment, to seize a day and say, you look beautiful, you look wonderful. That was a really, lovely remark. Whatever it is, it's stopping in the moment and saying, I just want to acknowledge you. And being very present. So being very present is an important thing to have gratitude, because gratitude is about the moment a lot of the time.
And it begins in the home, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Rather than school.
Absolutely. If you teach them from word go,
yes.
And they will grow up with an amazing thanks for everything that's given to them.
I can tell you did that with your kids. I just know you did.
Absolutely, and I still do it.
Yes.
And I've got a little granddaughter and she's only 1.5, and we Skype at least once or twice a week. She lives in New Zealand, and the first thing I'll go is we'll read stories and through Skype, and I've sent her a couple of books over, and I'll go, say ta to Nanny, say ta, say ta. So it's instilled. You've got to instill it from word go, because...
And they like it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And to hear them, their first words going ta or to go is just amazing. But my kids will tell you, I won't give them nothing unless I say please and thank you. It costs nothing.
Yes.
And it reflects on the person who they are.
No matter how old your kids are, you're always a child in the eyes of your parents.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Oh, dear. Well, thank you, ladies. And Marg, our EP, she says, Carlos, are you watching in, Marg's husband, because Carlos prepares dinner for Marg nearly every night. And Marg says that she's not the best of cooks, which I totally disagree with. She's a wonderful cook, but she says, every night I have a wonderful husband who cooks me a lovely meal. Isn't that wonderful?
That's beautiful.
Absolutely.
So, yes, imagine having a husband like that.
I think all the ladies and men out there need to look at their partner tonight and just say one thing of gratitude to them.
But hello to all the lovely wives too who are listening in, and they also cook wonderful meals as well, where you'll often hear that cry in the morning, what's for dinner tonight, love?
Exactly.
Now, if you don't get a drumstick in the back of the neck as you walk out the back door...
You're doing okay.
And I suppose it is a drumstick that hits you in the back of the neck and it lands on the floor. It's fit to be made into a schnitzel, isn't it?
That's right. That's dinner.
Yes. And if you've got very ungrateful family members, if it crawls, you can wrap it in batter.
Absolutely.
Anyway, well, that's our topic of discussion this week. Oh, can you imagine that?
We went on a high with that topic, didn't we, Steve?
I won't be going back to that restaurant, love, let me tell you. Let's go back to callers here. Beck.
Yes.
Vicky has rung in. She's the 13th of the 8th. Now, see, last week we had so many Pisceans on the show. This week we've got an abundance of Leos because we're sensing this eclipse that's coming up. 13th of August 1968, what a great year to be born in. Most of my life I've been in and out of jobs. I can't seem to settle, which has had an impact on my relationship and my family. I don't know why I can't settle in jobs. Can you help me get clarification? Would meditation help? That's an unusual question, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, some people have got that restless soul or, you know, a bit of an anarchist soul. My astrologer once said I had an anarchist soul. I don't know about that, but anyway, we can debate about that one. But definitely a sense of restlessness there. Again, I mean, you know, that does kind of go back to some childhood patterning there, okay? So I can trace it all the way back there. What I feel for you is to ask some questions, some deeper questions of yourself, and really sit with yourself and go, okay, well, what will it take for me to, you know, procure a job that feels more you know, long-term or feel more confident in my own ability there. On a level, I feel too, again, there's a part of your personality, you've got quite an open soul. I'm not saying you're ungrounded. I don't like using that term because it just sets up this judgment. But what I do feel is you get distracted. I do feel you get pulled a bit there. I do feel, again, there's some childhood patterning around that. So kind of, and I'm not saying you're like advertly like a people pleaser, but there's that energy of kind of being pulled and getting in the moment. And sometimes doing it, it's like you're just following, but you haven't actually kind of decided that for yourself. And hence, over the next few months, I'm getting the hermit, that sense of coming back to yourself and having a bit of a look. You know, again, it's actually okay to have a bit of that restlessness again, and I do feel there you've been a bit judged for that. People kind of saying, like, there's like that inner critic, oh, you haven't got your stuff together, or you're this, or you're that. And again, your soul feels open, so you've also taken on board those criticisms and that inner judgment. Some of the most interesting people I know who are profound geniuses have, you know, changed job 10,000 times. You know, they can be highly creative individuals, and this sense of being, you know, going with the flow, you know, you're just kind of surrendering in that particular way. I just feel there, though, you need to take some ownership of your power, okay? And hence, you know, claiming your I am presence, living in the question, activating your own, you know, intuition in your higher self through asking your subconscious, you know, questions. I feel there, again, you know, it feels more to me around August time next year that something settles in your soul. It's almost like you're putting your own little flag up there, you know, feeling a lot more connected to what you're doing. I do feel there's a change of direction. That feels to me around April next year, okay? So, yes, but what I'm feeling very strongly, because I'm getting a lot of violet flame energy, like a violet light, is to transmute any kind of shame that you've got around who you are, and let go of those that have, you know, expressed displeasure and frustration and disappointment at your so-called limitations. Sometimes, you know, we have to take on board that constructive criticism, but don't take to heart that, you know, there's something intrinsically wrong with you. Okay, because there isn't, you know, and I think that inner critic is making this a little bit worse for you, a little bit more intense, because I certainly feel change of direction for you, but not till next year. And again, it feels to me more aligned with you in your solar plexus, like deep in your gut, where you're going, oh, I like this, I enjoy this. And sometimes it takes people a long time to find what it is they really like, or what they feel really connected to as well. You know, it is a matter of time, okay? But you're going to be fine. I wish I could read for you more, but there we go. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Beck. Thanks, Vicky, who phoned in, 1900 990 990. And Sheila, Veronica has written in another new direction here for Sheila, because she's the 26th of the 8th, 1974. Wonderful year to be born in. My sister is involved with a guy, and we just don't get along, which has hindered my relationship with my sister. What can you advise?
Okay, Veronica, the first thing I'm getting as I tune into your energy, I think this reading is a little less about your sister than you think. They're wanting me to address certain aspects of your life, just to get you to think a little bit differently around your own life, which will in turn create a bit of a chain reaction to think differently about your sister and her partner. Veronica, you have a job, I think it's quite demanding, and I feel like, I don't know if you work long hours, but there's a lot of stress around it. I don't know if you're quite happy with all aspects of your life. And there's just this sadness there. I think something happened in January 2016, I'm getting. There's a sadness still within you that you haven't quite processed through. And there is need for you to do a little bit more fitness, get out a bit more, and socialise a bit more. And there's a bit of a loss of connections with some of your friends in your friendship groups. And these are friends that you go back 20 years, long friendships that you've kind of let the friendship slip a little bit. And this is actually affecting your mental health. What this is now doing is there's some frictions definitely between your sister and her partner, but there's a spotlight on it that's a little bit unnecessary. I agree there's some frictions there, but I think you're feeling it a little bit more acutely because in your world, in your bubble, in your life, things aren't sorted. So there's a need to focus, and all relationships are very important, but they should all be given equal weighting. And you've tipped with your sister. They've shown me a very great memory you've had. I think you went overseas with her, and I feel like it was on a beach, somewhere on a beach, a tropical place. And it was like the summer of '69. It was a lot of parties, a lot of socialising, and I felt like it was your sister and friends, or just you and your sister, and a lot of fond memories. And your relationship with your sister has changed. They're wanting me to tell you, as you get older, it just does. And that's a memory. And who you are with her, she's going to be different with you, and she'll always be your sister, and that bond of closeness will always be there. But the way she is with you is going to change and evolve, especially as she goes on her journey. And I feel like motherhood and things around the corner. So I think there's a level of accepting that the relationship's changing, and it's not all about the partner. It's about holding on a little bit to happy memories. There's a need for you, Veronica, right now in your life to create some happy memories of your own in different ways. Now, with respect to the partner, they're telling me this is not the man you thought your sister would be with. They're telling me your sister should be allowed and is allowed to choose what she wants in her life. She is on her own soul journey, learning what she needs to learn, experiencing what she needs to experience as you are. So to respect her path as much as you want her to respect your path and your choices in life. There's a little bit of learning about boundaries for you. Once you start understanding this on quite a deep level, you'll start to see him in a different way, and you start to see, they're asking me to ask you, can you see the things he brings to your sister? And where he doesn't bring, allow your sister to learn this herself and understand it. And just love your sister in the way you've loved her and shown love all those years. You've been very close, so I can see why right now you're struggling a little bit with this relationship. And I feel like where you need to be as a sister is in a supportive role and less judgment, they're telling me. And when you support, the closeness will always be there. And when you move from a lack of judgment and a place of love, you really can accept anyone. This is a lesson you're learning alongside your sister, and I feel like there's a need for you just to get out and just have a laugh outside of family. You need to reconnect with friends and work less hours. They're constantly telling me there's demands and pressures on your job. Where you stay, if you stay, it will lessen. I'm getting around September, but you do need to have breaks. It can't just all be work and long hours and working till September. I feel like you need to have breaks. That self-care will mean you're not as stressed and anxious, and you're not going to project that. So hopefully, what's come through has been more of a general reading about your life, but I think this will feed into your relationship with your sister. So all the best to you, Veronica.
Thanks, Sheila. Thanks, Veronica. Veronica was saying my sister is involved with a guy and we just don't get along, and which has hindered my relationship with my sister. What was advice? So thank you very much for that. Just listening to you, if I may also share with you, I felt Veronica should do a course. Don't even worry about your sister. Sisterly love's forever. It has its roller coasters, so does brotherly love. Yeah. But my advice I just felt for you is to do a course. Throw yourself into a new course. It's going to open up new doors for you, and you're going to be meeting new people. Linda, last reading for you. Our show's getting away quickly here. D is the 20th of December 1974, another great year to be born in. And she's a Capricorn, so she would have felt this full moon here. A good friend of mine, or so I thought, has been trying to undermine my company. We are sort of in the same line of work, and she is putting demands on her clients not to associate with me, as I can offer a service the same as her company, or I can offer a service that her company can't. I don't see what the problem is, because she can offer the same type of service. So they're in competition here.
Hi, Dee.
A little bit of envy
absolutely,
here?
Absolutely. Yeah. Or is it ego? You've got to remember why you're in this role, and I pick up that you're both in a role of service. So you're both there as a helping role, and you're both there to help your clients that are a little bit underprivileged. It is not a competition. Absolutely not a competition. And when you start to undermine your friend, and especially doing it in front of people, you're undermining her work and her capability with her clients. And it's not that you're better or you can offer a service that's better than her or vice versa. Isn't it about working together? Isn't it about talking about what the both of you can bring to these clients and seeing the best way that or an outcome connected around it? I'm going to say with the utmost respect, Dee, but let the egos go, sweetheart, and remember why you went into this role of service, and remember what your friend means to you. And if you cannot do it on a professional level, go and have a cup of coffee. Go and talk about it, nut it out, and see how you can help these people without worrying about who can do it better than anybody else. You know, we're all there of service in one way or the other, and the best way we can be is by being open, being transparent, and being there for the right reasons. I wish you all the best of luck, sweetheart, and thanks for connecting.
Yes, thanks, Linda. Thank you, Dee. Just interesting, 1974 and also August were the big contributions to our show tonight. Coincidental. Isn't that an amazing word, coincidence? Somebody said to me, it's God's way of remaining discreet.
Oh,
isn't that lovely?
It is.
That blew me away.
that.
Coincidence, God's way of remaining inconspicuous.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I just
lovely.
thought that was just magical. We have Kim who's rung in, 1900 990 990. Kim is the 21st of the 8th, 1995. What an amazing birth date, my dear. Again, here we are with August. I smile a little bit here because there's a little bit of dissension with the parents, and you may not always be in total harmony with the parents, even though they mean well. What parents don't love their kids? But there can sometimes be a little bit of conflict with directions, or oh, I don't know whether you should do that, and then you can be at odds with it. So, but this is mostly when you're growing up. But I see you're going to be in the right place at the right time. Some people strive to be in a prestige position or come across people from an upper echelon, but it's going to just come to you. It's just being handed to you. You're going to attract wealth, you're going to attract well-to-do people, what a wonderful thing. It's very extraordinary to say these things, so I'm never quite sure what I'm going to say until I get the feeling for the birth date, but you, my dear, are going to have this wonderful life. It's just going to come to you. It's not that you don't have to work at it, but it's going to be easier for you than it would be for other people. Now, I would also suggest here, before the ego latches a hold of this, I've got a vision of a ladder, so you're stepping up. But with that comes, it appears to me, fame, or you're going to be extremely well known. So a lot of prestige comes to you here. You're articulate, you enunciate your words, you have a presence about you, and I see that you're going to be very, very successful, but it's also going to reward you as well. This is all heading for you into public life. I don't suggest that it's media, but it looks to me that you're going to be involved with the masses in some capacity. You could even be in some sort of, well, I didn't say media, but it contradicts here what I'm seeing here with press. So is there press releases or something to do with this that you're dealing with here with the masses? Your blockages are that you've got powers that be that are not allowing you to express yourself as much as what you would like to. So where you're going to find a release with that is writing. Now that's interesting because I just said press before. So there's a little bit of journalism that appears to me to be coming here. I feel you are very gifted with words, but you know how you're able to travel here, there and everywhere? It's also a challenge. Now, why would that be? So you seem to be everything to everybody, but you're not so much here to Kim. So focus on what Kim wants. One last thing, you could have been a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. They deal with the sickness of the mind, but psychologists tend to deal with the workings of the mind. You've got a brilliant judge of character. So I would be throwing you into public relations or into schools of where you have employment, even government, politics, all those sorts of arenas. They're going to be very, very good for you, Kim. Thanks for being on our show. Lovely talking with you. And if you'd like a reading with us, 1900 990 990. There it is on the screen. Your name, your date of birth, your mobile, and your question to the best psychics that we have here in Australia. Always lovely to have them on the show. Beck, Sheila, and Linda, thank you, beautiful ladies.
Thank you, Steve.
Just
Thank
wonderful.
you,
I love your
Steve.
energy, and I love the words you say. And you really mean, I know you do, you really mean what you have to say to our friends out there. So that's why we have you on our show. On next week's show, Susie Price is with us. Susie is a ghost whisperer. She returns to AAY. I was not on the show the last time that Susie was here, so looking forward to Susie. And Fiona Rain, fantastic lineup. Vivian will be back with us too from LA. She's had 4 weeks break.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I thought Vivian was popping over there to get a job. Waving that visa around, very, very...
She's probably over there to have a lot of fun.
It wasn't a serviette. It was a lovely visa. So, Steve, she got to come back. Just heard from our other executive producer.
USA immigration's now on to us, Steve, thanks to this show.
So, yes, thank you very much. Good evening to all the customs. No, I didn't take that 100 ml of fragrance out there. There wasn't that 750 ml bottle of wine. It was a cask. Now, Fiona will be back with us next week, and Susie, numerology calls, our phone number 1900 990 990. Cost of the call is $4.35 if you would like to leave your message. Get those questions into us as soon as you can. If you don't pop up on next week's show, we'll keep you on file, and we will also be getting to you over the next coming weeks. Lisa Williams will be coming up with us on the 24th of July. Don't miss that show. We are going to be moving soon to live audiences. I was just trying to reference my sheet here, but look at this here. I was going to myself, what sheet is it on? Is it on page 16 or page 72? But we know that it's July 24, so Lisa Williams will be on the show with us, doing her show live on Skype from New York in Lilydale. And Linda can tell you all about the virtues of being involved in one of her courses, because you're one of her fine teachers here in Australia. So really,
and I spent all my time in Lilydale, which is an amazing place with Lisa.
In New York?
In New York.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So, yes, and here was me last week saying I thought it was Lilydale in Victoria. Oh, stupid me. Look, we'll be back next Monday night, friends, from 6:30, around about 6:30, 7 o'clock. Thanks for being with us and all about you. We love having you with us. We're up to show 39 today, show 40 next week, and thank you, friends, for being a very, very well and truly grounded part of our show. Ladies, bye-bye.
Good
See you
night.
next week, friends. Bye.
Bye.